Bulls, such magnificent beasts. Noted far and wide, they're found in ancient cave paintings. As Taurus, a celestial spot in the zodiac sky and often seen on football helmets and Wall Street. And they're also seen in rodeos violently bucking, twirling, and bounding, while a frantic cowboy holds on for dear life and limb. Why exactly do these bulls try with such intense, unbridled power to send a bull rider flying into the arena sphere? Today, we're diving into the explosive world of bull riding to answer that very important question. Let's briefly examine the history of bull riding and how it came to be so prominent as a rodeo sport. Bull riding, as we know it, goes back to the early days of Mexican vaqueros in the 16th century. These Mexican cowboys rode bulls while herding their cattle. They also held bull riding competitions where they maintained their mounted position until the poor animal fatally succumbed. This transitioned to the less lethal, the more humane method of riding the bull until it tired to the point of surrender. Eventually, this practice took its place in social gatherings called charreadas, where the bull-riding vaqueros displayed their skills and pageantry. By the mid-1800s, bull riding had become quite popular in the ranching areas of Texas and California. As it grew, it gained the attention of lawmakers concerned about the animal's welfare. This contributed to more humane rules and a less lethal outcome for the noble beast. The displays of cowboy grit and skill continued with the growth of Wild West shows and exhibitions, where they used easier-to-handle steers, otherwise known as ball-less bulls, though not by their own choice. In 1852, the Lone Star Fair, held in Corpus Christi, Texas, became the first ever Anglo-American organized event to host a bull riding event. Bull riding and rodeos continued as loosely organized competitions with no formal rules or standards into the 1900s. In 1929, the Rodeo Association of America was created, bringing a standard set of rules and championship recognition. After tiring of poor treatment by promoters, rodeo participants organized the Cowboys Turtle Association, named so because they were slow to organize but eventually stuck their necks out. This morphed into the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association in 1975, and by 1992, the sport had become so popular, the bull riders created their own organization, the Professional Bull Riders, which operates to this day with the PBR World Finals considered bull riding Super Bowl. So why do these bulls buck like there's a parasitic alien trying to gain permanent purchase on their mighty backs? First off, it comes naturally. Bulls are territorial and aggressive by nature. But having a human-sized animal perched on its back doesn't come naturally. Riders are an itch the bull is trying to scratch. Compounding this tendency are breeding practices dedicated towards this behavior. Like thoroughbred racehorses sent to stud, the best bucking bulls come from generations of bloodlines that give them their specific talents, athleticism, and desire to raise hell. And like a show horse or a lap dog, these bulls are well taken care of. They're just not very rideable or petable. Augmenting this inbred rapidity is the use of a flank strap, tightly strangling the bull's gonads like a metalsmith's vice. Actually, don't believe that myth. You'll be laying on the ground just like that bull would, and it would be called a ball strap. But it's not. It's called a flank strap. The flank strap is a rope placed around the bull's midsection, and while it doesn't hurt them, it irritates enough to encourage bucking. Plus, it causes the bull to buck in irregular motion such as side to side, up and down, and kicking its legs in the air in a circular motion. Added to the rider's mere presence is the intentional movements atop the bull. As they strive to remain balanced and seated, the bull reacts in kind. Now, let's talk about the real attraction of bull riding. The legendary hyper-aggressive rodeo bulls that made their names by not only alerting their riders to buck off, but nearly emasculating them in the process. There's a litany of standout bovine ballerinas, but here are a few all-stars notable for their stellar buck-off records, graceful and powerful athleticism, and native and knowing ferocity in the ring. Little Yellow Jacket, a three-time world champion coming in at 1,750 pounds, was a Angus and Brahman mix. He had a buck-off rate of 83.5% and average buck-off time of just 2.83 seconds, far below the 8-second success barrier. It's said this cowboy tamer knew when he had won and would go seek his owner for approval. In 2003, a world champion rider aimed to win a $1 million prize for riding Little Yellow Jacket. Suffice it to say that in less than 2 seconds, the bull's owners walked away with a $50,000 prize instead. Bushwhacker, another three-time world champion weighing in at a hefty 1,800 pounds, is considered possibly the greatest bull ever. He's been called the Michael Jordan of rodeo bulls, a veritable basketball as it were. Bushwhacker executed a PBR record 42 consecutive buck-offs with a career buck-off percentage of 96.96. Bushwhacker also claimed victory in a $1 million showdown, quickly dispatching his foil. Another bull laying claim to number one was Dillinger, a two-time champion named after the 1930s era criminal figure. Notable for his downward-pointing unihorn, Dillinger is ranked number one in Pro Bull Stats' all-time greatest rodeo bulls. A brutish beast at 1,800 pounds, he had the speed and agility of a bull weighing hundreds of pounds less. He bucked riders off at an 85.11% clip. Dillinger's highest recorded scores place him in 5 of the 50 highest scores in the history of the PBR. In 28 events, Dillinger was the high-marked bull of the event. Let us close with the most celebrated bull of them all, and probably the only bull to have a kick-butt rock song written about them by a kick-butt rock band, Primus, Who Sucks. As it's sung, who's gonna read Bodacious? Who's gonna tame him down? Look out for Bodacious, he's bound to hold his ground. Here comes Bodacious, y'all just step aside. Big and bad Bodacious takes a toll from those who ride. With a playing weight of a whopping 1,900 pounds, Bodacious was known as the world's most dangerous bull and the greatest bull ever to buck. Bodacious was said to be a combination of Babe Ruth, Secretariat, and Sonny Liston. One of only 2 bulls to win world championships in both the PBR and PRCA, Bodacious is second on Pro Bull Stats historical rankings. Bodacious was known for his signature move, a high kick followed by whipping his head back, smashing into the rider's face. And that's just what Bodacious did to one of the best rodeo riders to ever grace a bull's back. In a notorious occurrence, bull rider Tough Hedeman almost lost his face riding this massive Australian Charbray specimen. Hedeman later said, Bodacious was one of the greatest bulls of all time, even though by the end he was basically a cheap shot artist who would Sunday punch you. Many wonder what finally becomes of these great gladiators of the Rodeo Coliseum. They retire to a life of pampering and breeding. A proven bucking bull can be worth as much as $500,000. A young animal with DNA-verified parentage can be worth as much as $100,000 if he has superstar bloodlines. So we say bully for the bucking bull.